what we thought was going to be a pass rushing defensive special turned into 67 total points scored between the two teams. The Eagles with chances to win in Pittsburgh, and they did not get the job done. 29-38 your final score as the Eagles fall to the Steelers today. We will be breaking it down for you today on the Postgame Show presented by Ricoh. I'm Amy Campbell, as always, joined by Fran Duffy, Ike Reese. Fran, I'll start with you. Let's get some overall thoughts. I thought a lot of positives for the Eagles here, but some costly mistakes and some costly penalties. Some definitely questionable, others well-deserved in my opinion. What are your overall thoughts on today's performance?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the penalties for sure, and there were some ticky-tack ones, but the ticky-tack ones went both ways. You know, there were plays that were taken off the board by the Pittsburgh Steelers as well that went the other way. So I think, to me, self-inflicted wounds is something we talk about a lot, right? And whether it's on offense or defense, and there are, you know, up until the later part of this game, this was a one-possession game, and so those little mistakes really can come back to bite you. I think end of the first half, you know, John Hightower making that catch short of the sticks near the sideline and not getting the first down, not getting out of bounds, that took time off the clock. That J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, that big catch late in the first half, maybe that puts you in field goal range. That changes the outlook of that game going into the locker room. There were penalties on first down. The first down run game was not very good in this game. So really, you know, there are a lot of things you can look at and say, you know, just self-inflicted wounds at the offense, still a lot that needs to get cleaned up. There were some good things. Certainly Travis Fulgum is a bright spot. I thought the offensive line performed admirably well against this Pittsburgh defense. I'm excited to see what that looks like on film. But yeah, there's still a lot that still needs to get cleaned up offensively.
The Eagles went down by 17 points at one point. Ben Roethlisberger has never lost at home when trailing by that much. They were able to get it within two, but Ike, still not enough today in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and Fran touched on a lot of things that kind of ailed this offense there throughout the course of the game. Me being a defensive guy, Amy, Fran, I can't help but be disappointed in the defensive effort out there today. One team's defense were able to make game-changing plays, come up with turnovers. I know the Eagles got the one turnover off the forced fumble, but it just wasn't enough. And more importantly than the turnovers, getting off the field on third down. You know, I think about a crucial tackle that was missed on 3rd and 5, I believe, by Crayvon LeBlanc. You got to make that tackle. I mean, if you're going to beat a team like Pittsburgh, you have to make them fight and grind for everything that they get. This was going to be a tough game. And listen, the offense wasn't blameless out there today, but to go into Heinz Field and put up, nearly 30 points on arguably the #1 defense in the NFL, I thought the offense did enough to win the game. I just needed a little more from the defensive side of the ball to come up with either a big stop when they needed one or come up with a turnover late in that game to give their offense a short field to work with. So I'm just, the defensive performance today was frustrating for me.
Yeah, Eagles defense allowed 38 points. I saw it on the screen of the game. I can't remember how long it's been, but it's been a long time since Pittsburgh has scored 30 points in a game. All right, with that, let's go to Dave Spidero and get his thoughts on this one. Dave, a lot to break down, some good things, but we talk about the self-inflicted wounds. What are your overall thoughts as you start to process this loss here?
I hate the term self-inflicted wounds, okay, because it's not, it just bothers me. The Eagles, it wasn't as much to me self-inflicted wounds as a 17-0 run late second quarter, early third quarter. As Fran mentioned, the Hightower mistake, not getting out of bounds, cost the Eagles a timeout. Again, the defense, big drives, long drives, gadget plays. It's like these defensive ends are just not aware that, I mean, every team is doing the same thing to them. They're crashing down, and it's the bootleg, it's the misdirection, it's receivers coming across the formation, doing the jet sweeps, the flips. It's just nonstop, and there's just, the Eagles haven't adjusted to that. The soft coverage is bothersome. The having Nathan Gary on the receiver there, Claypool, at the end of the game, I mean, Jonathan Vilma called it out before the play. You can't put a linebacker out there on a wide receiver who has been torching you the entire game. I thought the offense, the run game wasn't there. Miles Sanders, and anybody wants to say Miles Sanders needs to get to the ball. Miles Sanders had 10 carries for 6 yards and a touchdown, other than that 74-yard touchdown run. I thought Carson played much better. I thought the offensive line held up until late in the game. Travis Fulgum, to me, is a starting wide receiver. I don't care if Alshon Jeffrey and when he comes back, and I don't care when Deshaun Jackson comes back. I'm riding with number 13. I'm going to develop that kid. I'm going to see what he's got because he's been super impressive these last 2 weeks. Eagles have not been able to get Zach Ertz into the game. That's concerning. But for the most part, look, there are no moral victories. I love the heart this team showed going down 17 points, and I just wish they could have finished it off in the fourth quarter. And by the way, I have no problem with a 57-yard field goal attempt from Jake Elliott, went wide right. I wish the Eagles could have executed that drive better to give him a better shot, but I have no problem with that decision to kick the field goal.
Dave, I'm so glad that you brought up Fulgum because that was going to be my question for you, and you kind of talked about this, but he's got to be part of the big picture now for the next few weeks, right? At least, moving forward. You got to count on this kid. What he's done has been really impressive.
Look, this is a football team that has talked all offseason about getting younger, about getting faster, about getting stronger. Best laid plans go to waste when there's a lot of injuries. You bring back Jason Peters. You rely a lot on the veteran receivers who haven't been on the field through the first 5 games. I'm riding with Hightower. I'm riding with Fulgum, Greg Ward. If Deshaun Jackson and Alshon come back, that's great. That helps. But I'm not going to give up on Fogum at all. I think there's something to work with here. Eagles are looking for young talent, and number 13 has shown that he is a big-time talent. We'll see as teams get more film on him and they take some things away from him how he adjusts, but clearly there is something there to work with.
Yeah, Dave, there's no way they're giving up or taking Travis Fulgham out of this lineup. The guy just had the best receiving day since Jeremy Maclin in 2014. So I don't think we have to worry about Travis Fulgham not being in this lineup anytime soon. But let me ask you about the defense, Dave. This was probably Darius Slay's toughest day as an Eagle. What did you think about his play today and the fact that Big Ben didn't necessarily shy away from throwing in his direction?
Yeah, Darius did not play his best game, no doubt about it. 2 pass interference calls down the field. I thought the first one was a bit questionable at the very least, but certainly the Steelers went right after him, and there's no such thing in the NFL as what they call a shutdown cornerback anymore. And this Eagles defense, if they are not dominating at the line of scrimmage, they struggle on the back end. That's just the way it is. And Jim just was rushing four, and Roethlisberger had time to pick him apart, and he did so. And that third down conversion rate, Ike, which you mentioned, 11 of 15 conversions. So let's talk about the defense, not just this game, but through 5 games. You have to be concerned with an Eagles defense that, once again, 3 trips into the red zone, 3 Pittsburgh Steelers touchdowns. The takeaway was great, but could not get off the field. Not enough pressure on Ben Roethlisberger. They made the decision very early in the game that Roethlisberger was going to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and he did it. Boom, 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 drop back, boom, boom, boom. Don't let the defensive line dominate. So that's the blueprint. So if you're Jim Schwartz, what is your counter move here? And that's what I'm going to look forward to in the weeks to come, because let's be honest here, this defense has not played well in 2020, period.
Dave, I'm just looking at the starting field position too. Everything that you just said, the inability to stop them on third down, the inability to create turnovers, just 1 sack today, and you're just looking Eagles offense, starting field position, on their own 17, on their own 14, on their own 24, on their own 15, on their own 20. Steelers on their own 46, they're 38, the 47. You see the starting field position, and now you're the starting field position battle, that yardage battle, completely in Pittsburgh's favor, and that's a team stat. That's offense, That's defense, that's special teams. The Eagles came up short in that area today.
And Fran, let me touch on special teams because the return game has been just not productive at all. I don't know what the return scheme is, but as I saw Craig James looping around to block, Steelers were running past him. Boston Scott had no chance. And for the first time this year, I've seen teams kick the ball to the Eagles, wanting them to return a kickoff. And it was a good strategy by the Steelers. Eagles still not getting production in the kickoff return game, still not getting production in the punt return game. And, those things can really flip a field and change momentum of a game. Eagles just unable to do that. But back to the defense, I think and I don't have this statistic in my mind, but The Eagles score a touchdown. We've seen it over and over. Eagles score a touchdown, and you go, yeah, let's seize momentum here. And then the defense, boom, gives up big plays, a long drive, points on the ensuing drive. And this defense has just not been able to take the momentum and keep it in the Eagles' favor. And that's something that is a big picture concern when you're looking at this Philadelphia Eagles team for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think great point there, David, especially when you're looking at the third down numbers for the Steelers offense, as well as you mentioned, just that momentum. There was at one point the Steelers had come away with points on 5 straight drives. I think it was 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal. So that's just not a recipe for coming away with a win, especially on the road. All right, I'm looking forward to hearing your podcast. As always, we will let you get to it.
All right, thanks so much, Amy. Tough one today. Great heart, but just not enough at the end.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Ike, let's get into some of your takeaways here, but I think that would be how I would sum it up. Great heart, a lot of fight. I saw some things today that were really exciting for me to see, things that I have not seen yet this season in terms of that fight. Some explosiveness on offense, some big plays, but just not enough to get it done, I think, like Dave said.
Yeah, and I'll start there, Amy. I'll start with the good, because the bad may take me a little while to get through. But the good, though, you're exactly right. I like what the offense was able to come out and do today. You're talking about a tough environment to go and play in. I know it wasn't a packed stadium, but the fact that you're going to Heinz Field, not many people come out of there with a W, and the Eagles certainly were undermanned on the offensive side of the ball. And you can make the argument that this is the best the offense has looked since the first half of the opener versus Washington. I mean, the fact that Carson Wentz seemed to find some rhythm with Travis Fulgum, the kid made big catch after big catch. Speaking of big catch, his catch radius, I think, was right there where Wentz could feel comfortable with. He doesn't necessarily have to feel like he has to be pinpoint accurate throwing the ball to Travis Fogum. The big kid can go up and make catches for you. I thought Wentz was very comfortable with that. Obviously, Miles with the explosive run for a 74-yard touchdown. That was nice to see. Greg Ward with some tough catches. Man, I tell you, John Hightower had a couple opportunities there that if he could just locate the ball and really get his hands in the right position, Carson could have had an even bigger day from the quarterback position. I know the 2 interceptions are on his resume for today, but I got to be honest with you. I don't think either one of those were his fault. I don't know what happened to Zach Ertz on that interception there where he got bumped off the route, and then that last Hail Mary throw, I'm not even sure why they were going for it on 4th and 20. That's probably the only scenario that you could that could only play out there on that last play, was that an interception was going to happen. So I don't even know why they went for it on 4th and 20. But I thought the offense and Carson with the young guys showed some promise today. Certainly enough to have people look forward and be excited moving in the next couple of weeks with these guys.
I completely agree. And let me touch on Fulgum. Of course, a huge day for him today. I believe 152 receiving yards. But he's the first player in Eagles history with 150 receiving yards within his first 5 career games. And honestly, you could make that 2 career games for Fulgum as well. And then we talk about that big play from Miles Sanders that we're going to see a little bit later. A career-long 74 yards against the NFL's best run defense. And you can argue that, yeah, that was a breakdown on their part. But I think a positive there, and the longest touchdown run by an Eagles player since Brian Mitchell in 2000. So, Fran, when you look at this offense, those 2 things in mind, but also just Carson taking some deep shots that I thought those were some nice balls down the field. I think that when you look at an offense that has been desperate for a big play, you have to feel a little bit excited about some of the things we saw today.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like when you look at what Travis Fulgum was able to do, you have to be excited about that, right? Because he's shown some really good flashes, more so than some of the other young receivers on this team in a short sample size, right? I mean, so you like what we've seen from Travis Fulgum. But and I also agree with you. I like the aggressiveness as well, because, you know, when you're going up against a defense like Pittsburgh, you have to take some chances. You've got to be able to try and stretch the field, even if it's just to get those guys to back off a little bit so they're not squatting on everything that's within 10, 12 yards. You know, I think that Dave touched on a great point earlier. You know, the inability to get Zach Ertz involved in the intermediate passing game has certainly hurt them right now. I think they're missing Dallas Goedert as well. You know, that injury has really proved to be pivotal for this offense. But at the end of the day, I mean, Ike, you said it earlier, and I thought you said it well. they go into Pittsburgh against one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best defense in the league, and they put up 30 points. And it's tough to argue with that kind of performance. So, look, it's a disappointing end to the day. There are certainly some good things to be able to look at, but look, a lot of things that they need to correct as well, really on both sides of the ball.
All right, Ike, what else stood out to you?
Well, let's get to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, my goodness. Coming out of the performance they had last Sunday against San Francisco, you certainly thought that would be something they could build on. Listen, Ben Roethlisberger is not Nick Mullins, so you know that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense was going to be able to have some success, but third down conversions, not being able to get off the field on third downs. Dave mentioned earlier about the red zone trips Pittsburgh had and were able to capitalize and score 5 straight drives for the Pittsburgh offense, 4 touchdowns and a field goal. And then, my goodness, to be beaten by one receiver, a rookie wide receiver, and Chase Claypool, just real disheartening. And I'm sure those defensive players got a lot of pride, and they're going to be kicking themselves about how they allowed this offense that really focused itself around a rookie wide receiver and a couple gadget plays was able to put up almost 40 points on them. This is a defense that plays with a lot of pride, that plays with a lot of toughness. But give Pittsburgh credit, they had a good game plan to neutralize the Eagles' front four and to get the ball out of Big Ben's hands a lot quicker. On the back end of this defense, just not enough plays being made by our linebackers and our secondary players. Not enough in this game. If Big Ben is going to throw the ball 35 times, we got to find our way to get some tip balls, get some balls batted in the air, and create more turnovers. I just thought our defense, other than the one turnover we had, it just didn't come up with enough big plays. And it seemed to me as if Pittsburgh controlled sort of the flow of the game. They seemingly can get whatever they wanted when they wanted it, and that has to be a little frustrating. I'm coming into this game, guys, thinking if the defense can hold Pittsburgh to 20 to 23 points, we got a real good chance to win this game. The fact that the offense was able to put up 30 points and that wasn't enough against a Pittsburgh team, it's got to be disappointing. And I'm sure those guys got a lot of pride. And this one's going to hurt. This one's going to hurt because a lot of those touchdowns were mental mistakes and breakdowns in coverage on the back end of this defense.
Well, and when you talk about affecting the quarterback and affecting Ben Roethlisberger, we talked about clearly a part of their game plan was to get the ball out quick, which is one of the things he does so well. But we talked before this game about the sack numbers for both of these teams. The Eagles leading the NFL in sacks at that time. They got to him 1 time. Carson Wentz was hit 4 times in this one, so Pittsburgh staying consistent with their about average of 5 sacks per game there. Roethlisberger's numbers, Ike, you mentioned it, threw the ball 34 times, completed 27 of those. That's almost an 80% completion rate, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then you talk about Chase Claypool, a rookie wide receiver, getting 4 touchdowns. That is a Steelers record. So, Fran, when you look at this defensive performance, I think Ike put it into perspective that they did a lot of things well, but they are certainly going to be kicking themselves about some of those breakdowns.
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm interested. So that's something I'll look at later this week. But, some of the missed tackles in some key situations, if it's, 3rd and 3, you have a guy wrapped up and they're able to get 4, on some shallow crossing routes, on some throws to the flat, sometimes in the run game. But, the tackling has just not been there. I think the tackling is a little bit down across the league right now. So I don't think that the Eagles are going to be, last or bottom 3rd in the league when it comes to tackling. But, right now, some of those missed tackles have just come in some crucial spots that have kept drives alive, and it's resulted in points on the scoreboard. To me, that's one of the things I think I'll be looking at is like not just the self-inflicted wounds on offense, the things that kind of kept points off the board, but some of those plays that left drives alive defensively that allowed Pittsburgh to continue moving the football.
Well, the turnover battle, always huge. The Eagles give it away twice and take it away one time, I believe. And then we talked about those third down numbers and those red zone numbers. Actually, both offenses did really well in that department. The Eagles 10 of 14 in third down, 71%, and then the Steelers 11 of 15, which is 73%, really close. Both teams 3 for 3 in the red zone and in goal to go situations. So really comparable when you look at that. Two defenses that, again, we thought this was going to be such a defensive battle heading into this. So while there's optimism on offense, you can see why. If the defense had maybe just made one more play or just not had one more penalty, those are the things that can change the game. Do you want to keep talking about that? Do you want to move on to your next takeaway? I'll let dealer's choice here.
All right. I'll go with my next takeaway, Amy, and I'll end this thing on a positive note because I know it's a loss, but for some reason, it doesn't hurt as much as some of the other losses earlier in this year. And I think it's because I feel a sense of hope with the offense. You know, when you have the type of talent that they're missing on offense, injured and on the sideline, you just don't know if you're going to be able to pick up a first down. And that certainly was the case early in this game. It took him a while to get going, but I thought Carson Wentz may have played his best game of the season. And so I look at the last 3 weeks, right? Cincinnati, San Francisco, and now Pittsburgh. The numbers may not necessarily reflect Carson getting better and more comfortable with his surrounding supporting cast as each week goes along. This was by far his best rapport with the receivers. When you look at these young receivers, there's virtually no tight ends involved in the game today. But the fact that Carson, with the kids, continue to grow, this is something, we got to take small victories out of this early portion of the season, right? And that's something that I think we can build on. I know they gave up 5 sacks today, but a lot of those were coverage sacks, meaning that I didn't see a bunch of pressure on Carson immediately, maybe once or twice. I say that to say the young guys up front, the young offensive linemen, I thought, did a nice job going up against this Pittsburgh defense that can bring rushes and blitzes and extra guys from all different angles. I thought they kind of fared okay today for the type of circumstances they were under. So I'll end it on a positive note that a takeaway, my final takeaway is that at least the offense continues to build some momentum and they continue to grow. I think that's something that we can sort of hang our hat on moving forward.
I completely agree, Ike. You talk about those sacks, too, for Pittsburgh. You watch this game, you did not have the feeling that Carson was running for his life out there. You felt like, for the most part, the offense was under control. He was making good decisions. To me, I completely agree. One of the best games I've seen him, or the best game I've seen him play this season. And he's clearly got something special going on with Travis Fulgum, so that is fun to watch the two of them and their chemistry grow. I thought he did a great job taking some deep shots, standing in the pocket. Here's his stat line for today: 20 of 35, 57% completion, 258 yards, 5 sacks for 34 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But I think those interceptions, there's some context that can be added. And my notes here: he threw that interception, and then after that, he completed 9 of 10 passes, including 2 touchdowns. So bouncing back, making good decisions. And then, of course, that last interception, 4th and 20, you take a deep shot. It's just a kind of an end-of-game situation there. So, Fran, I'm curious your thoughts on Carson's performance and where they can go from here.
Yeah, I think you guys said a lot of what I thought. The big thing to me, one of the other missed opportunities, I think, offensively, and unfortunately I won't be able to see it until we see the All-22 tomorrow morning, is that one sack by Stephen Tuitt, the same drive as the missed field goal. So, Jake Elliott misses the 57-yarder. I believe it was on first down of that series. Carson Wentz gets sacked, and they talked on the broadcast about, Travis Fogum was about to break open. That was a touchdown-saving sack by Stephen Tuitt. Carson Wentz was working towards that side. He got some pressure from his right side. He had to hold on to the football and step up to avoid the pressure. Unfortunately, was not able to do so quickly enough to get away from Stephen Tuitt. So, to me, certainly a missed opportunity on the board there, but I agree with you. I thought that Carson did a nice job in this game. He was able to bounce back off that interception. I wouldn't put either interception on him. Zach Ertz unable to play through that contact. The timing on the route was obviously thrown off on that first pick, and that second one basically an arm punt on 4th and 20 just to get Pittsburgh backed up into their own territory. But look, like I said, plenty of good and plenty to work on as well.
Arm punt. That's the first time I've heard that one, and I feel like it's perfect. Did you make that up, or is that like some jargon?
No,
that's
a jargon. That's a term.
That's a thing. Of course. You could have totally taken credit for it, and I would have 100% believed you on that one. Another thing I want to touch on, we saw Jalen Hurts throw his first NFL pass. 18-yard pass to Richard Rodgers. I thought that was fun. I thought it was exciting. I thought it was fun to see this coaching staff creatively use the guys that they have.
Yeah, finally we get to see Jalen Hurts throw the ball. So you knew it was coming sooner or later. You keep running him out there. Defense is thinking that you're going to run with him. You had to let him throw the ball at some point just to keep the defense honest. Perfect coverage, what they anticipated. Richard Rodgers right down the seam. Jalen Hurts able to set his feet and deliver a strike to Richard Rodgers. I know that has to feel good for the young man to get his first NFL completion in a game. And you know what? This is what Doug and this offensive staff sort of has to do for the time being, is to get creative. And Jalen Hurts is a fantastic athlete with the ability to run and throw the football. This offense needs as many dynamic playmakers as it can find. And Jalen Hurts does you no good sitting on the sideline holding a clipboard. So I'm happy to see that they've tried to incorporate him into the offense. Not too much, but a little sprinkle here and there. And man, bring it on some more. I'm perfectly fine with it. I think there's too much to be made of it. I'm excited about it.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off because Doug Peterson is ready to meet with the media. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time. We'll get started right away with John McMullen and then Tim McManus. Or Tim, if you're ready.
I can't hear anybody.
Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Doug, can you take us through the decision to go for the 57-yard field goal? Kind of what were you going back and forth on the sidelines there? What led to that decision?
Just an opportunity. I mean, felt comfortable where we were on the field. Obviously, it was a tough situation to be, in that 4th and long situation there, and well within Jake's range to kick the field goal, and yeah, that was it.
We'll go Jeff McLean and then Martin.
Doug, what happened on the 3rd down where Chase Claypool was being covered by Nate Gerry? Was that a blown call or was that a blown assignment? What happened?
No, it was just a great route. It was a double move with a receiver, obviously on a linebacker, and they caught us in the I think in a 2-deep look at that point, and just a double move on Nate. It was tough, tough call there, but well executed by them for the score.
Wait, so you're saying that a linebacker should be covering a wide receiver in that situation, a guy who's been catching passes all over the field?
Yeah, until I look at the tape, it's hard to really comment again on. I can give you a better update tomorrow.
Martin and then Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Doug, the game that Travis Fulgum had today, I mean, how much did you guys end up relying on him and just how he played overall? Thanks.
Well, listen, we rely on all our guys, not just one. You win as a team and you lose as a team. I thought he played well, played tough, made some great catches, big 3rd downs for us. It was really good to see from him, again, he's one guy that can really help our offense, and he had a good game today, but we didn't do enough to win.
Dave and then Bo.
Hey, Doug, just one catch for Zach Ertz today. He has just 5 for 15 yards in the last 2 games. Why is he struggling to be productive right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously we know defenses, know exactly where he's going to be, and they'll usually put a corner, a safety, sometimes double him. They give him a lot of respect. It's something that too. I think he's got to look. He's got to look at himself, as we all do, and we just got to keep working. We got to keep fighting, and we got to, as coaches, we got to find ways to get him uncovered so that we can use him a little bit more. And we know Carson feels comfortable with him, and just got to keep working.
Oh, and then Nick Fierro.
Doug, do you think that Travis Fulgum can be this type of receiver moving forward? And what does it do for a quarterback to have a guy who can sort of be a go-to receiver?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that he has, the skill and ability. Is great to see again today, and it's just something that we've got to sustain it each week. And he had the big catch, out in San Francisco, and then he had some big catches today, and it's just something we got to continue to build on and get all our skill guys, in that position. So I know our quarterback feels comfortable with him, and they work extremely hard during the week, and it showed with them today.
Nick, and then Chris Franklin.
Doug, what did you think of the job the offensive line, not just the offensive line, but the team did in protecting Carson Wentz today, the scheme and the pressure he was under?
Yeah, we knew going in. I mean, this is a pressure team. They got 5 guys that really can put pressure. I really thought overall the guys played well. Lane Johnson, before he got knocked out, with the injury, and Driscoll came in. I thought they did really right up until, I think, at the end there, where Bud Dupree came around the left side and got the sack. But I thought they held up well. It's a good run defense. So obviously, to run the ball is tough. We had the nice draw for the touchdown, which was good. But I thought overall they played well. We'll evaluate it, here in the next couple of days. But held up nice.
Chris, and then Rob Motti.
Hey, Doug, piggybacking off of that a little bit, there were still 5 sacks that were given up. Was it more on the edge of the receivers had trouble getting open earlier in the scene, or was it more on the offensive line when it came to that?
Until I can really evaluate. I mean, you're asking questions that sometimes you don't know until you really go back and study the tape and watch the tape, because, there were some times, I'm sure there were times when, you can get the ball out of your hand. I think there were times when guys were covered up. I think, some pressure sacks. So, it's a little bit of everything, but until I can evaluate the film, it's hard to answer the question.
Rob, and then Ed Kratz.
Doug, Miles Sanders had a great run for a touchdown. Outside of that, he had 10 carries for 6 yards. Why do you think the offense struggled to get the run game going? Is that a reflection of how great Pittsburgh's defense is against the run, or something that you guys weren't able to do?
That's a great reflection on how good the Pittsburgh defense is against the run.
Ed, and then Paul Domowitch.
Hey, Doug. The end of the first half there, John Hightower catches a pass, I think for 9 yards. Had the opportunity to go out of bounds, save you a timeout. Is that a teaching moment for a rookie in that instance, would you say, or how do you view that?
Yes, a teaching moment.
Paul Domowitch, and then Zach Berman.
Yeah, Doug, third down killed you on defense. I think they converted 10 of 14 third downs. Ben did not have an incompletion on third down. I know until you see the tape, you really can't make any specific evaluations, but what are your initial reactions to that?
Well, the one thing that, I would say is, we can't make mistakes like jumping off sides. I mean, that I think helped them stay on the field a couple times on third downs. When we had some third and longs, gave them some third and shorts, third and mediums, those types of things really hurt you when we do that. And those are mental mistakes that we got to clean up. And, that starts in practice each week, focusing on that. But, they're really good at rub routes, at pick routes. And, they got us today on a couple of those and stayed on the field. So, it's a little bit of both. We gave them some opportunities by the penalties, and then, of course, their execution on offense.
We have time for 2 more, so we'll go Zach and then Les.
Hey, Doug, following up on Jeff's question, I know you haven't seen the film, but we're trying to get a sense of what the plan was on the play. If you're playing too deep, does that mean the safety is supposed to be Nate's help, or do you want Nate one-on-one stopping Chase there?
Yeah, until I see the tape, I'll let you know tomorrow.
Last question here with Les.
Doug, two key possessions in the game, the one at the end of the first half and the one right after Trayvon recovered the fumble. You didn't get points in either one. Was there a common thread there in those possessions? And obviously in a game where the other team scores 38 points, you've really got to capitalize on everything like that, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
What happened there? Why couldn't you get points in either situation?
Until I looked at the tape, we probably failed to execute maybe. We got to do better.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, that's Coach Doug Peterson after today's game saying the mental mistakes we have to clean up. He's confident that they will. And Fletcher Cox is about to address the media in just a moment. So let's listen in.
Hey, Fletch, thanks for taking the time. We'll get started right away with Jeff Skaversky and then Mike Sealski.
Fletch, obviously, the defense was going to, be a big part of this game. How tough is it to give up 38 points and really let the Steelers get to you there?
Well, the biggest thing for us is, no matter really how many points you give up, winning is the most important stat when you get done with it. I'd rather, give up however many points, but still come out with a win. But obviously, we didn't take care of business today. I don't even think it really matters. We give up 38 points every we get. If you give up 38 points, you still get a win, then I'm okay with that. Then we're not having this conversation. But at the end of the day, the most important stat is get the win. We didn't do that today.
Mike and then Chris Murray.
Sorry about that. Fletch, the defense all season has been, you look at the point totals that you guys have given up, it's probably not what you guys want. Are we talking about schematic problems? Are we talking about physical errors? What do you think is the overriding issue here?
We're not winning. If we win this game today, we're not talking about the Eagles defense giving them 38 points. I think that's the most important thing. Obviously we had a couple of penalties that kept a couple of drives live, gave them, more opportunities to make more plays. Like I said, we got to get off the field, and we got to win. I'd rather give up however many points. As long as we get a win, I think that's all that matters.
Chris and then Bo.
Why do you guys continue to have trouble stopping those misdirection runs? It seemed like they got away with a few of them today.
They had a couple run plays on us. Teams gonna make plays. Players gonna make plays. They get paid to make plays too, But for us, we got to get the man on the ground. Hit us with a reverse, hit them with some jet sweep stuff today. And the biggest thing is, get the man on the ground, play the next play. I think we tackled a few of them, all but one right there. When they was at like the 2 or 3 yard line, we just gotta, get them on the ground.
We have time for a couple more. Bo, Tim McManus, and Dave.
Fletch, I know that you get a lot of attention from, opposing offensive lines, and oftentimes that opens things up for the other guys. But are you starting to get a little bit frustrated that you are not able to, rack up sacks at all?
No, I never get frustrated. I know that my time is coming, and I tell the guys in that room all the time, if I stay calm, they stay calm. The minute I lose my stuff, they lose their stuff, and it's kind of get everybody out of whack. So if I stay calm, they stay calm, and everybody will be fine. There's plenty food on the plate for everybody to eat in that room, and I'm excited for the guys. Anybody that's making a play, I celebrate with those guys. Happy for them when I make a play. They're excited for me, and that's the one thing about that room right there. It's a special group.
Tim and then Dave.
I saw you leave the game at one point. What were you working through? How'd you come out of this game physically?
I came back. I was fine. I came back. Had a little bobo. I came back. I was fine. You see, I finished the game, so I'm fine.
Last question here with Dave.
Hey, Fletch, you guys struggled to get off the field on third downs. As a defense, is that kind of one of the things you normally pride yourselves on? And what were some of the issues today?
No, until we get back and look at the tape, you really don't know. We're not the type of defense or the type of team that point fingers at nobody. I mean, we're one solid group. We do good together, and then we struggle together. That's the biggest thing we talk about. Like I said, nobody on this team, on this defense, nowhere a part of this organization point fingers. We just keep our head up and correct our mistakes and move on to next week.
Thanks, Fletch.
All right, that's Fletcher Cox on today's matchup, talking about setting the emotional tone, not losing his cool, how he sets the tone for the group, and you can really sense that from this defensive line. Also, on the sack numbers, with him getting so much attention, he said, look, my time is coming, and as long as we're getting to the quarterback, I have no problem with that. Also, hearing from Doug Peterson earlier today, you can sense that this team is going to look at the film. They seem calm, they seem level-headed, that they are going to get those mistakes corrected. As we continue to wait for more players to join the press conferences, I believe Brandon Graham is going to be coming up next in just a few minutes. Let's talk about some of the Eagles' defensive numbers today. All right, let's talk about some of that pressure from the defensive line. Fran, I'm curious your thoughts. We talked about this team getting after the quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger getting rid of the ball so quickly. What are you looking to see from that matchup when you dive into the film this week, when you evaluate the defensive line's performance?
Yeah, and that's the tough part about pressure is that, if the defensive line is able to get home and impact the quarterback, which, I thought they were able to do today, and they said so on the broadcast as well throughout I thought Jonathan Vilma did a nice job for Fox today and kind of highlighting that. I think when you look at pressure, you're not always going to be able to get home for sacks, but you can affect the quarterback. Unfortunately, sometimes whether it was soft coverage or missed tackles, the guys in the back seven were not able to kind of pick up that rush.
All right, Carson Wentz is getting ready to meet with the media now. We will listen in and hear from the Eagles quarterback.
Hey, Carson, thanks for taking the time. We'll get started with Jeff McLean and then Rob Maaddi.
Carson, can you explain what happened on the first interception? It looked like Ertz may have gotten bumped at beyond the 5 yards. And can you explain why you two have struggled to kind of get something going these last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, the first interception, that's unfortunate. I mean, he ran into the linebacker there that was dropping, I don't know if it was ICT or what. But it's a timing route, and when he runs into the linebacker, it's kind of a tough break, and got to live with that one. But as far as the targets and everything with him, it's one of those things I'm not worried about, just because as far as chemistry goes, I feel great with Ertz. I mean, I think we've showed that over the years, and it was just that was the type of day it was today, and really last week. But I still feel confident that he's going to get open, he's going to get his going forward, and we can be better there.
Rob and John McMullen.
Carson, why do you feel, or why does it seem that you're more in sync, more chemistry with Travis than anyone else right now? And what can you say about his performance out there, 10 catches and a touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, he's a beast. I mean, he showed up today and showed really last week the two big plays he had, they weren't a fluke. The he's a baller, and he made a lot of big plays, and I was really proud of him and pumped for him. And as far as the chemistry with him versus other guys, I mean, I feel great with all these guys. And his number got called a lot more today just because he was in the right position, and he made some great plays.
John and then Reuben Frank.
Hey, Carson, to kind of follow up on that with Travis, when he's having that kind of success in game, I think the one drive, you got him on 4 or 5 straight passes. Are you noticing that he's kind of having the hot hand? Does that kind of change your thinking to try to get him more involved?
I mean, you definitely notice it, but at the end of the day, I go where the defense dictates that I go with the ball. And he was in the right spot for a lot of those, and a couple play action passes were designed for him and everything. So, yeah, he had the hot hand today, but again, it kind of just the way the defense, the way it was flowing today. And like I said, he made some great plays. He's a heck of a player, and we're going to keep building on that.
Rube and then Les.
Hey, Carson, there were some stretches today where it seemed like you got into a rhythm that has been elusive this year, and that you kind of, and I don't know if the final stats will show it, but it seemed like there's some stretches where you looked like your old self. Did you feel that? Did you feel yourself getting into a rhythm that maybe you really haven't been able to grasp so far this year?
Yeah, I thought offensively, obviously not the end result that we wanted. Left a handful of plays out there, but I think offensively we did some good things. We got a good rhythm going. We converted a lot of third downs. Came up short, obviously not what we want and how we want to finish, but there's some things we can definitely build on, and getting into a rhythm today definitely helped us.
Les and then Martin.
Hi, Carson. You got the ball back with a little more than 3 minutes left after the Trayvon LeBlanc fumble recovery. That looked like the chance right there to take over the game. Why didn't that happen?
Yeah, just didn't make enough plays. Plain and simple. They made some good plays on defense. We just came up short, and hats off to them. We got to execute better and finish the game better, and we just didn't.
Martin and then Tim McManus.
Hey, Carson. When you guys were down by 31-14, you just thrown the interception and everything. I mean, how were you guys able to kind of come back? I mean, what were you able to do in those situations to get back in the game?
Yeah, stay tough, stay resilient, and we knew we had some good things going offensively. The interception was kind of just a tough break, how it played out. So we knew we were still capable of moving the ball against that defense, and I think the O-line did a great job of kind of setting the tone. And we asked a lot of them, against a really good front over there. And I thought we did a good job of sustaining some drives and everything, but again, just not the end result we were looking for.
Tim and then Nick Fiero.
Carson, big picture, what are your thoughts on where this team is, what they're capable of? How do you walk away from this loss thinking about this team?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I got to watch the tape. But, I walk away frustrated with the loss and where we're at right now, but, encouraged by some of these younger guys stepping up and making plays. And obviously we've been depleted a little bit with injuries up front, at receiver, at, a lot of positions. And guys have stepped up and done a great job. I mean, we've talked a lot about Travis and what he did stepping up. A lot of the young O-linemen are getting their opportunity out there and are doing a great job. So I'm encouraged that we can keep building on this and, we'll find a way to keep turning this thing around.
Time for a few more, so let's go Nick, Jeff Skaversky, and Bo.
Hi, Carson. On the fourth down play where you tried the field goal, the long field goal with Jake, was there any discussion on actually trying to go for it there on fourth? I know you had a long ways to go, I think five yards. And were you trying to lobby Doug to stay on the field there?
Yeah, I wasn't involved in that. I trusted Coach and Coach Phipp, the special teams coach, to make that call, and we had a lot of faith in Jake to get that one through, I guess. And that's just the way it happened.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Carson, obviously this is not the start you and this team wanted, but the fact of the matter is you guys are currently sitting in first place. You have an opportunity to hopefully get Deshaun and Alshon back. When you look at this team and you look at going forward here, how much do you believe that a simple fix here and there and getting your core players back on offense can really get this team driving in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, again, we got to watch the tape, but I think there's some things to be encouraged about from today. We're so close. Finishing some drives offensively, taking care of the football. The defense is so close. Last week they had some big turnovers and things, and it's right there. We're right there, and we're playing against some good football teams, and we can get this thing turned around, and I'm confident that we will.
Last one here with Bo.
Carson, I know that you guys, do feel good that you can turn this thing around, but what is sort of the mood like in the locker room right now? What are guys saying to each other? You're in first place, but it's only one win out of 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, we're frustrated. Don't get me wrong. This is not where we wanted to be, not where we expected to be. We have high expectations for ourselves around here, but guys are going to be, critical of themselves and take accountability to where they can, really improve and help this team get better. And, I have all the confidence in the world in the coaching staff and the players to fix the little things, and we'll get this thing going.
Thanks, Carson.
Thank you, guys.
Carson Wentz meeting with the media after today's loss, really emphasizing we're so close, a lot to build on here. This is not the end result that they wanted, but offensively got a good rhythm going. He mentions the third down conversions, which was a strength for this team today, and a lot to build on for this offense. An offense that total net yards for today, 336, and averaging about 5.9 yards per play. And, of course, a big game from Eagles wide receiver Travis Fulgum, who will be meeting with the media now. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Travis, thanks for taking the time. We'll get started here with Dave Zangaro and then Chris Murray.
Hey, Travis, I know you're obviously disappointed you guys didn't get a win, but kind of a breakout game for you. Do you feel like you've kind of shown the league that you belong and what you can do?
Yeah, I'm just trying to do what I can. You know, if Carson throws me the ball, just come down with it and make the play. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get the win, but we'll keep building on it.
Chris and then Jeff.
Yeah, Travis, how were you able to build that chemistry with Carson in such a short time, going back to last week and then coming into this week's game?
Whenever we have free time, you know, before, during practice or after practice, we're working on our chemistry. You know, Carson's a great quarterback. He's putting the ball on the money, and I'm just coming up with the play.
Jeff and then Ed.
Travis, can you explain what happened on the 3rd and 5 slant that you ran? Did you think you could have had that, or did you feel like the hands were from the defender were in on you before the ball got there?
No, I absolutely should have made that play. That's on me. I should have came up with that play, you know, to continue to drive and hopefully give the team the win.
We have time for 2 more, so we'll go Ed and then Les.
Travis, it looked, you know, you were open on a few receptions, and you also made some pretty contested catches. To get open, I mean, is it your route running, or is it, you know, do you work better against zone or man? I mean, what was working for you to get open today?
I'm just being in the right spot at the right time. Coach is calling the play, great plays, and I'm just executing.
Last one here with Les.
Travis, did you have family in the stands today? You threw the ball up after that one touchdown, but you just threw it up in the air. You didn't give it to anybody or anything, so I was wondering.
Yeah, that's something I regret. I probably should have kept that touchdown ball. Hopefully, my family was there, mom, dad, and my sister. But yeah, I probably should have saved that ball and gave it to him.
Thanks, Travis.
All right, that's Eagles wide receiver Travis Fulgum. After what we would consider a second breakout game in a row, the guy everybody was talking about last week in the Eagles win, and the name that everybody was talking about all day today as well. 152 receiving yards for Fulgum, which is a record, the first player in Eagles history with 150 receiving yards within his first 5 career games. 2 games so far for Fulgum, and he is clearly carving out a big place for himself in this Eagles offense and as a great target for Carson Wentz. And Wentz saying in his press conference that, look, Fulgum has the hot hand. He's a guy he trusts a lot. The 2 of them work really hard at practice, and they have a great relationship as well. They're looking at the full stat line here for Fulgum. 10 catches on 13 targets, 152 yards, and a touchdown. And with that, we are going to hear now from Eagles safety Rodney Mcleod.
Hey, Rodney, thanks for taking the time today. We'll get started here with Mike Sealski and Zach Berman.
I'll jump in. I think Mike said I should jump in here. Rodney, on that 3rd down touchdown, the last one by Chase Claypool, were you supposed to help in coverage, or was Nate supposed to be one-on-one against Chase?
So it was quarters. So, you know, 54 coverage. My guy, you know, I'm responsible too. He goes vert, try to get back to help Nate on that play. It's an empty set. And so bent it away, and they made a good play. Ben obviously checked to it once he's seen us in that particular coverage, quarters, and made good throw, good catch.
Well, John and
honestly, versus that coverage.
You said me, Allie?
Yep.
Hey, Rod. You guys have been pretty successful on 3rd down coming into this game. I think 6th in the league overall. Today it didn't work out on 3rd downs. Was there any theme to that?
No, we just didn't execute well. That was a point of emphasis coming into this game, every game, honestly. Defensively, if, you know, we want to have an opportunity to win the game, we have to perform well in third down, red zone, and turnovers. Those situations matter. And we came up short today. A lot of that, some of it had a little bit to do with first, second down, but a lot of it was self-inflicted, whether it was penalties or us just, like I said, not executing the way that we have in the past.
Paul and then Martin Frank.
Yeah, Rodney, on the same theme about third downs, looked like Ben didn't have an incompletion on third down. Looked like he was throwing a lot of quick stuff in front of you guys. Is that essentially what he was doing?
Yeah, they understood, we're typically in man, that they took advantage of that. Ben is a very experienced quarterback. He's seen a lot, and they had a plan on how they wanted to attack us, running some shade plays out of bunches, quick game to eliminate the pass rush. So we have to look at the film, man, and understand how teams are going to try to attack us with us running a lot more man this year and be prepared for it.
Martin and then Nick Fierro.
Hey, Rodney, were you kind of surprised to see linebacker and Nate Jerry trying to cover Claypool there on that last TD?
It was tough. Like I said, they came out in an empty set, and it was a great call versus the coverage that we had. Ideally, would we like Nate to be on a receiver? No. We would prefer, a defensive back, but that was the call that was made defensively, and they checked to a good play.
We have time for two more, so we'll go Nick and then Jeff.
Just kind of sticking with that, Rodney, you mentioned quarters coverage. Was Nate one of the guys, one of the guys in quarters? Wouldn't you normally have 4 deep backs in that?
I'm not understanding. It's empty. So we have certain rules in empty sets where, certain individuals are responsible for, individuals. On that play, everybody's, responsible. Typically, corners are responsible for 1, safety is responsible for 2. And empty sets, it kind of falls on, Nate in that situation. But like I said, it's a tough play for Nate. Going against a receiver like Claypool, who's had a great day versus us as a defense and us as defensive backs. But like I said, Ben saw it, and we have to live with that play.
Last question here with Jeff.
Sorry, Ronnie, not to bemoan this play, but so were they in 11 personnel?
They were in 0-1 as a tight end to the 2 receiver side, a receiver, and 3 receivers to the right.
Typically, you guys do match up.
They ran
the same. You had dime out there?
They were in the same formation. Huh?
Yeah. And you guys had dime out there to match it?
Yeah, we had I think Dollar out on the field, but in that package, there's still a linebacker present. There's one backer, and that's always Nate.
And that's typically the package that you use to cover that personnel.
I mean, the 2 plays before we were in man, we decided to go zone on that third down play. That's the difference.
Thanks, Rodney.
All right, that's Eagles safety Rodney Mcleod breaking it down after today's performance. He is one of the nominees for the Toyota Player of the Week, so of course stay tuned to hear more about that. The Eagles defense on the field today for 34 minutes, 43 seconds, as the Steelers the offense was on the field for that amount of time. And we are now going to hear from Brandon Graham, who's going to meet with the media.
Hey, BG, thanks for taking the time. We'll get started here with Mike Sealski and then Les Bowen.
Brandon, what's been the overriding issue defensively this season? You saw the Rams, put up a big number against you guys. The Steelers did the same thing today. Is it scheme? Is it personnel? What's been the issue?
Third down today. That's what I can just speak on just today, what I seen. We got to get off the field. And I think that, just third down hurt us bad today, especially with the penalties. I didn't realize we had eight penalties, and, it's just unacceptable. We got to make sure that we it starts in practice, and we know that some of the stuff that showed up in practice showed up out there in the game with the offsides and just little things that we can correct, and it's just that's what hurt us in the end.
Les and then Bo.
BG, after the first several series, it didn't seem like you were really able to get to Roethlisberger. I understand he was getting rid of it quickly, but he just seemed to be able to pick whatever he wanted out there. What was going on up front? Were they max protecting? How did you see it?
Like you just said the ball was coming out fast. That was the game plan. I mean, it's respect for us. They're getting it out, hitting the perimeter, but we gotta make sure we tackling and rallying to the ball, and that's something that we can continue to keep on getting better with, because we're seeing how people are attacking us, and that's exactly what they do. They try to take the D-line out the game, and that's what we're going to see moving forward. So we're going to make sure we get that corrected.
And you also misdirection so much, like on that long run. How do you stop that?
That was just a good play on their part. Sometimes they just make a good play. They act like they going one way, and they use some of our strengths against us. We get off the rock, we hit our points, but they know exactly where we're gonna be sometimes, and they fake like they going one way, and they get us to commit, and that's exactly what happened that play.
Bo and Dave Zangaro.
BG, do you think you guys are a good team right now?
I do think we're a good team. We can, just think of how crazy it could have got. We came out, we rallied, we got a turnover, we started to get things going. We put ourselves at a position where we make a field goal, we go up. You know what I'm saying? And the fight in us, we never quit. And so I feel like the self-inflicted wounds, we got to get better on that. That's no excuses on that on our part. We messed that up. We blew it. We blew our chances. But I do know we a good team. Coach keeps us together. Us as leaders on this team, we keep us together. We just come to work. But some of the self-inflicted wounds got to stop, because we got to get started, because we can't just keep on making the same excuses. And I think we are heading in a good direction. We just got to believe that.
Dave and then Nick.
Hey, BG, with all the injuries you guys have on the offense, them putting up 29 points, you probably would have taken that coming into today. Does it make it more frustrating as a defense when it might feel like you guys aren't living up to your end of the bargain?
Yeah, we pride ourselves on, it don't matter if we score 3 or, it don't matter. They shouldn't touch the end zone. And so we out there working hard to try to make that happen. We got to stay consistent with not, killing ourselves with the penalties. We don't make excuses. We just go out there and play. Some plays, they just made a good play. And I feel like that one little run that they got on the reverse, that was a good play that they made. And, all I can say is, we try to hold up our end of the bargain. We didn't do that today. And we just got to make sure we're doing it all in one. When the offense clicking, we got to make sure we clicking too. It can't just be, one side clicking and the other ain't clicking. And, we just got to stay consistent.
We have time for a few more, so we'll go Nick, Chris, and Zach.
Hi, BG. On the series there where they took the field after the missed field goal and you got hit with that penalty, judging by your reaction, it seemed like you didn't agree with that call. We didn't see the replay. They didn't show it. What happened there? And was that a face mask?
They call face mask. That's what they call. I guess we'll see Wednesday if I get a fine or not, because sometimes they don't send the fine because it wasn't one. It wasn't a penalty. So hopefully that's the case, because that's why they didn't show the replay. But all I know is I didn't see it on film yet. But I do know that I didn't touch his face mask. That's what I'm just speaking for myself.
Chris and then Zach.
Carson likes to talk about that the offense is close in terms of just getting their act together. Where is is the defense, close to getting itself back together, as Carson suggests that the offense is?
I believe that, because I think that it's just we got to stay consistent. We show what we can do when we're doing it. When it's right, it's right. But when it's wrong, it's just like one misstep here, one bad read here. We got to make sure we stay consistent as a group. And that's just the bottom line. I think that we show flashes, but we got to just stay consistent because we know how people are going to attack us, and it's pretty much it's a copycat league. They're gonna try to hit you where you have issues, and so we got to make sure we fix our issues every week and continue to rally each other together because we got to get this thing turned around.
Last question here with Zach.
Hey, Brandon, on the topic of it being a copycat league, Les asked you about the misdirection runs. This was the third time this season that a wide receiver scored a touchdown on a run. Is this something teams are seeing against your front, that they're doing that?
I mean, I guess, like I said, it's a copycat league. They ran it a different way than other people ran it. You know, there's different formations that you see, but we just got to fix our issues. I ain't making no excuse. That was a good play. You know, that's a good play that we got to make sure that we, moving forward, you know, stop, because people are still going to run it on us if we don't fix our issue. And, you know, I think we will get that together.
Thanks, BG.
Yeah.
All right, that's Eagles defensive line Brandon Graham after today's game. We are going to take a quick break here on the Postgame Show presented by Ricoh. On the other side, the Ricoh review as well as the nominees for the Toyota Player of the Week and a look at the Eagles' next matchup. Stay with us.
This does not.
All right, welcome back to the Postgame Show presented by Ricoh. It is time for the Ricoh review. A big play for this Eagles offense, a 74-yard touchdown by Eagles running back Miles Sanders in his hometown of Pittsburgh. A very exciting moment for this offense. Here's Fran Duffy with the Ricoh review.
All right, now let's go to the offensive side and look at the play that really got the Eagles going offensively, and that's this 74-yard touchdown by Miles Sanders. The Pittsburgh Steelers come into this game allowing just 54 yards per game on the ground. So, number one, run defense. Would the Eagles be able to get things going with Sanders on the turf? Well, you get the 74-yard touchdown here and really ties things up. What we're going to see here, this Pittsburgh front, we talked about it all week. We talked about it on Eagles Game Plan. We talked about it on the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast. Pittsburgh love to blitz. They blitz more than anybody in the NFL coming into the week on a per-game basis. They ran more stunts than anybody in the league on a per-game basis. And what you're going to see here from Pittsburgh, you're going to have a defensive tackle looping. You're going to have another linebacker coming inside. These two guys are running a little bit of a game, and you're also going to get a blitzing slot corner. So on 3rd and long, Pittsburgh, they're bringing the heat. They're bringing extra rushers, and they're moving guys around, doing all kinds of things to attack quarterback Carson Wentz. The Eagles know this. They're expecting this. So the best way to kind of defeat the blitz, you might say with a screen pass or, you know, some kind of a quick throw to a hot route. The other way is with a draw play, and that's exactly what you're going to get to Miles Sanders. Now, all you're trying to do is suck the defensive rush upfield, and then you're allowing Sanders to get behind that. What I want you to watch here on the first part of this is just Jason Kelce, because the offensive line, they're selling pass pro. You're going to see all these guys, they're going to pop up and look like they're in their pass sets. They're just going to drop backwards. Kelce makes a key block here because these guys are slanting on a stunt. Even though Kelce knows it's a run play, he has to block this up. He does an outstanding job handling these two defenders here right in front of his face, and we can let this run. And just watch the job by Kelce. Hands number 91 off. He's ready to seal off 55. And then the rest is Miles Sanders. He's able to make a couple guys miss, and he races to the end zone for a touchdown to tie up the game, make it 7-7.
Now is your chance to vote for the Toyota Player of the Week. Go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com/Toyota Player of the Week to cast your vote and get a chance at a brand new Toyota. This week's nominees, it's wide receiver Travis Fulgum, running back Miles Sanders, and Eagles safety Rodney Mcleod. Guys, we have a lot to discuss here, but how is it not Travis Fulgum after that performance today? 152 yards, a touchdown, clearly building something special in this Eagles offense. We saw a lot of big plays today, something to be excited about. Fulgum is my pick. Fran, who are you going to take here?
Guys, there's plenty to discuss after this game. There's plenty that can be debated, that can be picked apart, that can be, broken into small chunks. There's not much to debate here. This one's an easy one, right? I mean, I got to think that Travis Fulgum's going to run away with this fan vote.
I'm going to say that Ike is going to pick Rodney McLeod because he always picks a defender. Ike, are you going to justify that one today? You were a little critical of the defense earlier.
Yeah, not today. No, you can't get player of the game when we give up 38 points on defense. So, like Fred said, Amy, I think this one is a no-brainer. Travis Fogum, over the last 8 days, has become a household name in the Delaware Valley. I think we're all, as Eagles fans, excited to see what this kid, see if he can sustain this. I mean, we may have found a diamond in the rough. So it's a no-brainer. It's Travis Fulgum, the hottest name in Philadelphia, Travis Fulgum.
Love it. And of course, a lot to be excited about with the potential of some other Eagles wide receivers coming back from injury. Adding all of that together, that's a lot to look forward to for this team. Guys, let's look ahead to next week's matchup. The Baltimore Ravens are coming to Philadelphia. The Eagles will be home. The Ravens are 4-1. They just took down the Bengals 27-3. It was a shutout there till the very end. And of course, this is another good defense. This is a running quarterback. Last year's MVP, Lamar Jackson, will be in Philadelphia as well. Another tough challenge. This is a tough schedule, Fran.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And that comes anytime you win the division, which the Eagles did last year, and now they're playing the AFC North, which has a lot of talented teams. Baltimore has some intriguing things to talk about on both sides of the ball. I've already started my film breakdown on them for next week for Eagles game plan, so we got plenty to talk about this week.
Of course, Fran has already started his film breakdown on the Ravens. Ike, do you have any quick introductory thoughts for us as we start to look ahead to next Sunday?
Well, I tell you, Fran, I hope the team has started the breakdown on the Ravens on the way back from Pittsburgh, man. You look at Baltimore's offense and their defense, and the thing that stands out to me the most is when you're facing this team, you have to play assignment football. Know what your responsibilities are. Pre-snap recognition, and that's on offense and defense. They do so much with Lamar Jackson and that run game. You have to be fundamentally disciplined on defense. And from the Eagles standpoint on offense, they come at you from so many different ways with their blitz packages and their pressure packages. You're really going to have to study this team this week. This, to me, will be the most difficult team, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, both offensively and defensively.
And of course, the Ravens' only loss of the season at the hands of the reigning Super Bowl champion Chiefs as well, and Patrick Mahomes. All right, as we look ahead to next week, the Eagles will be back in Philadelphia for a home game. We might have some fans in the stands, which would be really exciting as well. And we will, of course, be right back here next week, 45 minutes before kickoff with the kickoff show presented by Exalta, Fran Duffy, and myself, of course, and then right back here to break it all down on the postgame show presented by Ricoh as well. All right, for Fran, for Ike, for Dave Spidero, for all of our team, I'm Amy Campbell, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.